We did that whole intro and our mic was muted. Wow, very professional. But anyway, again
Hi.
from the top. Hello!
And good evening. Welcome to
Roses and Reactions. And tonight we are doing Invincible.
Invincible, yes, which is available on Amazon Prime. This is a show that was introduced to me by Rachel. It was a show I really was reluctant to start watching.
I had to basically force her into it with bribes.
I really wasn't into watching yet another superhero series and get involved in all that.
Because you're used to the stuff on the CW.
Yes, I used to watch a lot of the CW shows, not so much anymore. But you get kind of superheroed out after a while. But I was shocked and yet pleasantly surprised by this series. So what we're gonna do is this is gonna be a spoilery show. So if you haven't seen Invincible, and
no, Mike just finished episode 4. No, Mike, don't.
Well, I'm glad that you watched up to episode 4 because Mike just started watching it today because of our discussion this morning on Saturday Morning Cartoons. So thank you so much for checking out the show and for watching us. So you might want to just tune out after we talk about episode 4.
Yeah. If you don't want to ruin the experience for you.
And what an incredible experience it was. So Invincible is actually based off of a comic book written by Robert Kirkman, who you may have heard of because he also wrote The Walking Dead. And the comic was it was written in 2003, and the last comic was in 2018. So the comic series is done. And so the show is based on the comic. And there's also a movie that was originally supposed to come out. It was in creation before the series, and that's still in production and will come out, but it's going to be not related to the cartoon series at all. Even though Seth Rogen is part of both of the shows, both the cartoon and development of the movie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about
Seth Rogen?
Yeah. Yep. So why don't you
I had no idea Seth Rogen was involved in this at all.
Yes, he actually voices Alan the Alien.
Oh.
So why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what Invincible is about, Rachel?
Invincible is a superhero show about a boy named Mark who is half Viltrumite. And it starts with him getting his superpowers, similar to Superman. And it's basically a show about his journey to, I guess, be a superhero. But it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than the typical boy saves the world story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of amazing twists in it, which surprised me. And
a teenager named Mark. Sorry, my mistake.
Well, let's talk about Mark's lineage, okay? So Mark is not all the way human. His father
is a Viltrumite.
Named
Omni. Well, his name
is Nolan, but he goes by the superhero name
Omni-Man.
Omni-Man.
And is probably brilliantly voiced by J.K. Simmons and probably one of the best parts of this show by far. And that's not a diss on the rest of the show. That's just to show how amazing the character is.
So we're going to go ahead and discuss the first episode called It's About Time. So in this first episode, it starts off as like a lot of superhero shows do. There's an attack on the White House by a couple of twin monsters, the Mueller twins.
Well, one is a clone, Mom. Get it correct.
Well, I don't think we know that right from the start. But anyway, so there's this group of superheroes from all around the world called the Guardians of the Globe. And they help save the day and save the White House from this terrible insurrection. And then
very topical, Mom.
Yeah. But then something really terrible happens. And that is the Guardians of the Globe come to a demise.
And something I would like to point out, that intro scene with the Guardians of the Globe is completely original to the cartoon and the original comic books. That wasn't there. We barely get to see any of them at all. I think we just get to see them meet up before their deaths, which I really like that touch, because the way they are introduced in the show is like, you're gonna think that these are like your main team, what Mark is like aspiring to be. Like, you're gonna think that, Mark is gonna eventually join the Guardians of the Globe once he gets his powers, but they just get all killed off in one of the most brutal scenes like I've seen in like anything. But that was a really good twist ending. And it really took me off guard the first time I watched. I knew it took you off guard.
Yeah, I did not see that coming. But what I thought was really interesting was that all the Guardians of the Globe, they cast a lot of the people who played in The Walking Dead. They all voiced the characters of the Guardians of the Globe, which is a really nice touch for Robert Kirkman being the creator of both series. So that, I thought that was kind of nice. And as I was like, I'm like, oh yeah, now all these people who don't work on the show anymore, they get to be on this show.
And I was just like, you're right, Mom, while they're watching the episode.
So yeah, so that was a shocker that they are all killed. And in this first episode, we also learned that Mark gets his powers. At first, he doesn't have them, and then it starts
very like a typical superhero coming of age story.
And so we have actually a scene, don't we?
Yeah, this is the scene that this is actually between Mark and his mom, and we wanted to point this out because one of the things that this show sets up from the very beginning is that pretty much even the side characters, even the people who don't have superpowers, are important to this show. Like, Mark's mom, I think, is your favorite character, right?
Yes, she is. Debbie is my favorite character on the show, and she is voiced by Sandra Oh.
And my mom really wanted me to show off this clip between Mark and her.
Practicing my landings.
Yeah, I see that now.
Yeah, sorry about the yard.
What are you doing?
I need practice, Mom. I can't land well, I can't fly all that fast. I need to be better.
Mark, you need to sleep.
I need to practice.
Honey, it's the middle of the night. I have work tomorrow, you have school. Get inside right now.
Make me.
Does that make you feel strong? To know I can't physically make you do something? Is that what you need?
This is important.
Remember when you were little and we'd talk almost every night before you went to bed? You'd tell me about whatever jerk made fun of your hair, and I'd tell you about all the girl drama I lived through so you'd feel better. I can't talk to you while we soar through the clouds, but I'm still here. It used to be you and me, and this crazy world-saving superpower father of yours. Now it's you and him. And your boring old normal mom.
Mom.
It's okay, sweetheart. I get it. You have to move away from the normal life with me and get used to being something more, like your dad.
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm worried about. I'm nothing like Dad. I'm more like you. I'm nothing special.
Oh, like a knife to the heart with this one.
You know what I mean. After everything he's done, how can I possibly live up to all that?
Who says you have to? You don't have to be the greatest Omni-Man ever. You just have to be the greatest you.
And what if the greatest me isn't enough?
Mark, you stupid boy. How could the greatest you not be enough?
Thank you. I love my boring, powerless, everyday run-of-the-mill mom.
And I love my asshole son.
Okay, well, I want to talk about this scene for a moment because this is actually I really feel like Debbie is a lot like me. Okay, I saw a lot of her in me, and this scene with her talking to him like this, it seemed like a really realistic conversation.
Yeah, this is what you don't get in shows like on the CW, like with the Flash or Arrow. You get them like occasionally. You get moments to sit down and talk, but you don't really feel the heart in them, at least in the later seasons of these shows. And I really like the fact that Invincible likes to slow down and just have realistic conversations with its characters sometimes. It sets it apart from a lot of the other superhero cartoons out there. It's not all about just the fighting.
Yeah, this had a lot of heart to me. This scene was very well written and so well performed. It was just, this is probably what sold me on watching the show.
But not at first, like directly after seeing it, she paused the episode, and you remember what you told me, right? Because she knew the show was rated M, and usually when I am enthusiastic to have her watch something, she knows there's a catch. She knows something's up. So what is exactly what you said to me when
I got like really mad?
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you
mad? I was furious with her because I'm like, she's gonna die, isn't she? I'm like, because I already
like
kept
alluding that something was gonna happen at the end of the episode.
She's like my favorite character, and she's gonna die in this first episode. I just felt it, because it seemed like that was the setup, that the mom was gonna die because she's so close to her son. So that's what I was expecting. It's what I feared, and fortunately, that doesn't happen. But I still, throughout the whole 8 episodes, I kept wondering, when's Debbie gonna die? And I had to worry about that through the whole thing.
Because she is like almost directly in the confrontation with Omni-Man. It's like the writing choice to have her be the one to be like investigate and find out something's up with him over time is terrifying, because you want her to find out, but at the same time you want her to be safe.
Yes, it's just like hashtag save Debbie.
Yeah, please don't let Debbie die. We love Debbie. Debbie is such a great mom character. Like, what other superhero show gets you to care about the mom of the main character? I really can't think of one, except for maybe Smallville in the first few seasons.
Yeah, I mean, there's the Martha Kent's always been like the favorite, and Aunt May, from the Spider-Man series, possibly. So
basically, really good character stuff, really good action scenes, which is also present in this episode.
Yeah.
It's overall, this first episode is just a great introduction to the series.
And so I think somebody had something to say about Omni-Man on our comments here. So Omni-Man does look, that's really an interesting comment, that Omni-Man looks like J. Jonah Jameson because J.K. Simmons played him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then, here's Terry. What did Terry have to say? He watched the first 2 episodes, really need to revisit it and watch the rest. You absolutely do, because it's really worth watching. Mm-hmm. And, here's the thing. A lot of times Rachel will get me started on these shows, and then we'll stop for like a long time. Okay. Like, for example, Squid Game, which I have not been able to
That's on
finish.
you. What do you mean that we'll stop? Like, you're like indirectly, that's on you. That one's on you.
Yeah. I started crying
in the middle of an episode.
And she stopped it in the middle of the episode. And this was how many weeks ago?
Like 3?
Because I was like hysterical.
Yeah.
So we haven't finished Squid Game because of me. Another one we haven't finished yet is
again on you, Full Metal Alchemist. Again on you.
Yes.
On you, because you don't want your character to die.
Yeah, I keep I'm so worried that this one particular character in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is going to die.
Mm-hmm. So we
stopped watching. And we had and so I
they
told
can't
her,
die if I not watch it.
Yeah, that's right. They can't die if you
don't see it.
If I don't see it, it didn't happen.
Don't see it, don't think it.
So, but surprisingly, we ended up like steamrolling through this show just because
it's so good.
It's so good, and there wasn't really a moment for me to like have that moment where she just turns it off and is just like, man, because she gets mad at me. She'll get mad and be like, bah!
Yeah, when you start crying hysterically.
So we actually, I think, finished this like within like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
because you were in the middle of classes. So,
mm-hmm.
but it was just like every time she had a free moment, we watched it,
mm-hmm.
and it finally finished it up. We're going to move on to episode 2, which is called Here Goes Nothing. Okay, so in this one, why don't you tell us about what happens in this episode?
Why don't you tell us about what happened in this episode, Mom? I kind of told you what happened in the first episode. Did I not? Why you gotta always make me do everything, Mom?
Okay, so
Disrespectful. But no, seriously.
All right. Okay, so in episode 2, there's this group that's called the Flaxians that come down to Earth.
Like constantly, they get their asses kicked, then they keep coming back to the same location, the same city every single time.
The Flaxians come down.
You think they change their location at least when they keep getting their butts handed?
And there's and they're getting kicked by a new team. There's a new force because the Guardians of the Globe are dead. Mm-hmm. So what they have to do is they decide that they're the Global Defense Agency develops a team of the teen.
No. The teen team was a thing before that. I think they become the new Guardians of the Globe later, though.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a while since she's seen this.
She's seen it twice.
I've seen it twice, so this is why you didn't want to give the synopsis. Okay. Yes. You know what? I'm covering. I'll come over. So we meet the teen team, which consists of characters that are all likable. Well, at least in the love-to-hate way when it comes to Rexplode. But they're all entertaining characters, and there isn't any characters in this show that I think are wasteful or boring. I think even Duplicate, who's kind of meh on the personality side, still has interesting enough powers to where I warrants her existence. But one of these characters, or I think at least two in the case of you really like Robot, right?
Yes, Robot is my favorite out of the bunch.
And Adam Eve are like some of our favorites, the best of the best in the show.
So Robot, which is voiced by Zachary Quinto of Star Trek, the movies, he played Spock in the movie franchise, the new one. He does such a brilliant job. I didn't even know it was him doing the voice. And Robot is such a cool character. He's the leader of the new team for presently, and they bring on and then we've got Adam Eve, mm-hmm. which is she's like this really cool character,
and her powers are like broken. She can basically change the atoms of the world around her to anything. It's such an incredible power.
And then we have Monster Girl.
She doesn't come until the next episode though.
Oh, she doesn't?
Yeah, she's not part of the original team.
Okay, but we have
Rexplode, who's the one who's. You love to hate him because the stuff that just comes out of his mouth is just so, I guess, cynical. It makes you laugh. And he's awful. He cheats on his girlfriend, but the way you just can't help but like him. He just has something about him that makes him not completely hateable to the audience.
So Rex and Adam Eve are a couple.
Yeah, to start. But then he's found having she catches him having a multi-some. I think it was a threesome with Duplicate because Duplicate can duplicate herself. And so she breaks up with him almost instantly. So I really like how they don't prolong because Mark is shown to have some thing with her. So I'm glad they didn't prolong that side of a love triangle too much. There's another character that we will talk about later that is involved in a sort of love triangle that gets in the way of Eve and Mark's relationship, which I haven't read most the comics up until past the part of the show, but I'm really hoping Eve and Mark are the end game because I really don't like the other character that Mark's involved with, but we'll get to that later. But anyway, the Flaxians, they keep showing up, getting their butts kicked, and then it ends with something that's not in the comics, one of the most amazing action-packed scenes I've seen in a superhero show where Omni-Man just follows them back through their portal to their home planet and just annihilates.
So
we actually have that clip. Yeah, we have that clip. So let's get that up real quick.
You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
I don't know why the audience is now doing when I uploaded this video. We're ruining the amazing music scene. This is why and once again, I don't know why the audio is doing this file. So I get without the audio disorder. Watch the show. It's worth it.
So basically,
Yeah.
Omni-Man goes and destroys the entire planet, and you know what? It's not. I mean, I've seen something similar, but only in anime, and that was with Dragon Ball.
Mm-hmm. And even then, it wasn't that brutal.
Yeah, it wasn't as brutal as this, and I it was shocking. You don't expect, and Omni-Man makes that ominous quote, which is
Earth isn't not. Oh wait, it's Earth isn't yours to conquer.
Earth
which is
isn't yours to conquer.
Because at this point, we know that Omni-Man killed the Guardians of the Globe, but we don't know what's going on with him. So that's like a really cool piece of foreshadowing.
But you know, like regular superheroes don't go around destroying whole other worlds. So you know that this guy is really starting to look really shady.
He's been shady. He's killed the entire Justice League equivalent.
Something's up, and actually there's a detective by the name of Damien Darkblood that gets introduced in this episode.
He's not in the show for long, but he has like really a big plot relevance later when it comes to events with Debbie.
Yeah, so he starts to investigate the Guardian's death because he's hired by the Global Defense Agency's runner, Cecil, and he asks him to look into things. And this guy is actually a demon, so he's from hell. From hell. So here's a demon from hell as a private investigator, which is pretty cool. But what a great little twist. So we're going to go on to the third episode, which is called "Who Are You Calling Ugly?" Okay, so you go ahead and tell me what the season episode 3.
Well, what happens is they do auditions for Guardians of the Globe. We get introduced actually this time to Monster Girl, who has a really cute relationship with Robot moving on in the series. Because her really power sweet. Basically, she's basically the Incredible Hulk, but every time she transforms, she gets younger, which is a really horrifying, at least to me, power to have, because I don't know, aging stuff it doesn't do it for me. It's just, I don't know, I find that stuff horrifying. But this episode basically, we get our new Guardians of the Globe. A lot of them are made up members of the team, except for Adam Eve, who chooses not to be in it because Rex is in it. And at this point, she's found out that he was cheating on her. So she just decided, I'm not going to be in a team with either of them. If he's in it. And Invincible, this surprised me, is not part of the team either. I don't know if that ever happens, but he's sort of like Omni-Man was, how he's just sort of on the side. He isn't technically part of the Guardians of the Globe, but he helps them out when they need it, which I found really interesting because most superhero shows have them join the main team. So, yeah, that's a good point. Monster Girl is 25, but that's so horrifying because, like, how are you going to get in any kind of relationship, really, when you're that age? When you're 25, but you look like you're 12? Like I think she even says in the show that she's attracting the wrong kind of attention. Like, people who want to date her like that are not the kind of people you'd want to have interested in you.
So, yeah.
So what else happens is there's this really cool scene. The other thing I want to bring up is Mark is with this girl named Amber. Yeah, we'll get more on Amber later. She's like one of the few problems I have with the show, and I think you too, right?
Yeah, but I mean, in a way, yeah. I mean, she's good. She's good in a way.
She's well, for me, she's good at the start, but I don't know. She's like completely ruined for me when we get to it. But there's this really cute scene that I like that wasn't in the comic when Eve basically goes to be with Mark, and he sees him with Amber, and she just sighs and says, "Good for you, Mark," and flies away. And I find that really refreshing because in these love triangle-ish type of things, usually have the other girl being really upset and like starting a scene and unnecessary drama. But the fact that she's happy for him, that's just really nice to see. Like, I don't need like relationship BS all the time in my shows.
What I really like about Adam Eve is she really becomes her own person.
Mm-hmm.
Throughout the show.
She's a great female character.
Yeah, she really is. She's she thinks for herself. she's chooses to be on her own and not just be part of a group. And I really like basically her choices throughout the show and how she grows as a person. So that's
her relationship with Mark is really sweet.
Yeah, it really is. So yeah, really like her.
I really hope their end game.
Yeah.
So moving on to episode 4. This one is a weird one for us, right?
Yeah. So this is
the one where Mark goes to Mars in place of his dad in order to protect a bunch of astronauts.
Yes.
From, I think they're called the Sequids, which are basically mind control parasites. And the episode ends, which is what I think is we're going to content in season 2, where one of the astronauts actually ended up getting stuck on there and gets possessed by one of these things. So I think we're going to follow up with that next season. And did anything else happen in this episode? A major note?
Oh yeah, there is one major thing that happens, and that's that Dark Blood gets information about Omni-Man that confirms that he is the one who killed the Guardians. And Cecil can't let that information be released. So he ends up banishing Dark Blood back to hell. But not before, because Dark Blood's kind of a smart guy. He left his notebook
to Debbie.
In
Debbie's closet.
For
her to find.
Yep.
So that's interesting. So moving on to episode 5, aka the episode where Mark gets his ass handed to him.
Yes. So this is really good in the aspect that you see a superhero, and you've seen it before where superheroes get the living kicked out of them. But, not so really. I mean, like Superman 2 with Christopher Reeve, and there's that scene in the diner where he's lost all his powers, and then that bully just like beats the living crap out of him. This is sort of like that, except that here's a guy with, new superpowers, and he gets the crap kicked out of him. And it was a kind of a shocking episode because the team is put in real danger.
You thought Monster Girl straight up died, and you were upset because I think right before that happened, you're like, I really like this character, and then it like she don't want that, and you're like, again, like, because that happens a lot. You would be surprised by how many times she says that she likes a character, and then like right after the character like gets severely injured or dies.
This started way back when I was watching Battlestar Galactica, the reboot. Okay. This became like a growing, like an ongoing trend with the family. It became an in joke with the family because I was watching one episode of Battlestar Galactica, and there was this priestess girl, and they're like walking through the woods, and I'm like, I really like her, and she got blown up like instantly, like right after I said that, and then from that point on, it would be like every time I said, oh, I really like this person, they would end up dying like within the next few minutes or a couple of episodes. So in our family, if I like a character,
that's why I constantly ask. So that's why Mom gets this issue. I'm like, hey Mom, do you like Adam Eve? And she's like, no, I hate her.
Yes. So yeah, people troll me all the time about character deaths now in this family because they know how I am. So they'll ask me, do you like, because they usually watch ahead and they know. And I'll be like, I'm really sus on saying I like anybody. And I'll usually like, oh, they're all right. They're not my favorite, low key, So, yes. So, but, so that, that's just a thing at our house. So seeing this episode was really important. It also set up a different, new characters too. Bad guys.
I think we saw a Titan before, but I really, really like what he did, where he basically called Invincible and basically showed him around the bad part of town. Show him, hey, not everything is about fighting big supervillains. There's a lot of stuff that superheroes do and can do just for general society as a whole. And I really appreciated that because that's another thing you don't see in a lot of superhero shows.
Yep, that's true. But it turned out that there was a twist on that one as well.
That he betrayed Mark, but he did it for his family. So they don't leave him completely evil. He's more of a gray character, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah. So that that's the interesting thing, all these little side stories that we get throughout Invincible that are setting up and leading to things for future seasons, because not everything is tied up at the end of season one. So Mark ends up getting hospitalized, and most of the characters on the team are, severely injured. So then we move on to episode 6.
This is not the. I think this is the episode, right?
Which one?
I think it's episode 7 where the main Amber scene happens, but
yes.
This is the episode. Well, first off, let's get the good stuff. Let's take a look at the good stuff.
I really actually like this episode a lot. This might be my favorite episode in the first season, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
So how about you break it down? What happens?
Sure. Okay. So Mark is recovering after getting out of the hospital, and he decides to go with his normal girlfriend Amber, who doesn't know that he is Invincible, the superhero. And they go to visit this college that she's planning on going to. And also his best friend Mark goes because William.
Yeah, Mark's best friend Mark.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't know why I always want to call him Mark. But Mark's best friend William goes with him because his boyfriend is up there. His
crush.
Well, his crush. So his crush is up there at the college as well. And things go down horribly. They're expecting to have this like really light weekend, and no, that's not the case, because there's a guy who I think he works for the college. He's like a scientist there.
I think he's like one of those people who are paid to be there to do like research and stuff.
So he's got this maniacal thing where he's kidnapping people and turning them into like these robot zombie type.
Think of the Cybermen from Doctor Who, if you know about that.
So unfortunately, William, Mark's best friend's crush, gets kidnapped.
Yeah, live on video, like while they're having a video chat. And this is like, there is a problem with this one, or like right after. So basically what happened before this is that Mark, when they ran into these cyborgs the first time, Mark headed out to become invincible to fight them. But in turn, because he left, it looked like he just fled the scene and ran away. So Amber got really mad at him, which at this point in the story, yeah, I kind of get that. I mean, you just abandoned, you would think that she would think, oh, she just abandoned his girlfriend and his best friend when they needed help. So I could kind of get that then. But Mark behaves in a way that's like iffy. Like I get it, he's a teenager, but like he sees this man get kidnapped like in front of him on video, knows something's wrong, but like doesn't want to help him immediately because he wants to try to make up with Amber first. And it's like, come on, Mark. You literally saw this guy get...
Yeah, so yeah, Mark's really into his own feelings and his own personal issues. And so he's being a typical teenage boy, actually. And so his behavior is, no, I'm not going to rush off and find out what happened to this guy and try to save him. Instead, he's wallowing in his own sorrows and trying to find a way to make it up to Amber. And in doing so, his best friend's crush basically it becomes a
robot zombie.
Yeah, which is a kind of
just a happy ending to it all, with him remembering who William is, but still pretty messed up thing.
Yeah, it's a pretty messed up storyline, and I think that's why I kind of liked it a lot, was because once again it's like you're expecting one thing and find out what's going on with that.
Yeah,
our battery's running low, and I thought I had it plugged in. Is it not plugged in?
It is plugged in.
So find out, is it not? Sorry if we're having technical issues right now. Sorry about that. So sometimes these things happen when you're live on the air. But we're having, for whatever reason, we're having a massive battery running This wants to go find yours.
Oh, this wasn't.
What's wrong?
I'm mad at you. What's wrong?
It worked earlier. I charged it earlier. Where's your charger? Huh?
I don't know where it is.
Why isn't it in your bag?
I don't know. Make a post on Facebook.
It's charging now.
I still don't know where my charger is. I still don't know where my charger is.
Hello, everybody. We're back. So sorry about that.
Our laptop decided to die.
Our laptop decided to die, and for whatever reason, we had it plugged in, and for whatever reason, it wasn't charging.
Yeah.
So, I see Mark seemed to hop in there for a minute, but now I don't see him.
Can you not hear us?
Can you guys hear us? Okay. Mike says he sees us. Can you hear us? We apologize for that. We had a little kind of, that was unexpected. Yes. Okay. So.
All right.
So, like I was saying, I really enjoyed this episode a lot, and sorry about that. We didn't expect that to happen. We thought we were all set, plugged in. Is this charging now? Does it say it's charging?
Yes.
Okay. So we apologize for that. Hopefully that won't ever happen again. And so that takes us. Did we have any clips for that episode?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So that takes us to the penultimate episode, if that's how you say it. The second to the last episode of the season, called "We Need to Talk," which is where things start to really come to a head.
So let's get the good stuff with this episode out of the way first, which is the Omni-Man stuff, which is where things start to go down with Omni-Man. Basically, he's found out that he's the one who murdered the Guardians of the Globe, and Cecil and his task force are sending basically everything at him to try to kill him. And Mark is unaware of this. He's off doing his own thing, but the Omni-Man stuff, this is where the tensions like bring to the max with this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the stuff that I want to talk about real quick, because I need you. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. The one major complaint I have about this show.
All right,
Amber. Now, Amber starts off as a pretty okay character, a decent character.
Yes.
She seems like a really chill person, a good girlfriend for Mark. And then and you can even understand why she's getting upset with him because he keeps disappearing. And then the scene happens. And if you've watched the show, you know what the scene is. And I actually have a clip of that.
Thanks, William. See you later.
Bye, Amber. See you later.
Amber! Come on, this is dumb.
No, what's dumb is how long I've been putting up with your bullshit.
Ugh.
You're right. I've been an asshole, and I'm sorry I didn't realize that sooner. But that all stops today. Amber. Whoa, here we go. Amber.
Oh my god.
It's okay. This is why I'm always late or why I don't show. Because I'm off saving lives or stopping some bad guys or going to Mars. I wanted to tell you so many times. Did you hear what I just said?
Ugh, I know you're a superhero.
You know? You know?
I'm not an idiot. I figured it out weeks ago.
Then why are we fighting?
We're fighting because you lied to me. You made me feel stupid and unimportant.
It's a secret identity.
And because you don't trust me.
I'm trusting you now.
Oh my god. I mean, it's cute you think that's enough.
But, Amber.
Fly away, fly boy. Or take the stairs. I really don't give a shit. I'd like to be alone.
Hello? Now, the reason why this doesn't work is because of how Amber was acting in previous episodes. Like I said, with the thing with the robot and how I justified originally why it made sense for her to be upset because it looked like Mark disappeared on him. But if she found out like that he was invincible months ago, it makes kind of no sense that she would get mad at him and kind of makes her weeks ago that Mark was invincible. Then it kind of makes her actions there. It just makes her kind of come off as a horrible person, to put it lightly.
Yeah, because if she knew weeks ago, why didn't she tell him she knew and confront him then?
And why would she act like he just disappeared on her?
Yeah, why was she getting all upset all the time if she knew that he had these powers? And I mean, it kind of seems like it should have happened earlier.
It makes her out to be like a selfish character.
Because usually with these secret identity things, as soon as they tell them, I'm Superman or I'm Spider-Man, it's just like, that's cool.
And in the comics, they actually handled this way better. Amber didn't know. They sort of had the that's cool moment, but then immediately afterwards, she's like, this isn't gonna work because of like you're not gonna ever have time for me, which I think was a way better way to go about it. And I think what they were trying to do is subvert our expectations there and go against the norm of what would typically happen in a situation like that. But it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I kind of agree with her on that. But it'll be interesting to see how things go.
Eve and him have better chemistry anyway.
But yeah, we don't. But you don't know what's going to happen with them two either. So
yeah, they get back together at the end of the show. So
Amber
and him. So I don't know how that's going to turn out. I hope the writers listen to the fans and take note of that for the future. But the last episode, episode 8.
Episode 8 is like the shock bomb of all time. So if you haven't seen up to episode 8 and you're still watching us, I think, you might want to wait, because we're gonna spoil something really huge here. This is the episode where basically Omni-Man and Invincible
go at it. Mark finds out that the Viltrum Empire is just that, an empire, and that they're sent to worlds to conquer them. And he's not having that.
Yeah, and he's not going to join his father to destroy the world.
So Mark tries, keyword there being tries, to stop Omni-Man, and it
does not go
well.
So you're going to go ahead.
This episode, the tension is the all-time high, and you've got one of the most brutal scenes that I have seen in any show ever. And if you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about, the train scene, which I do have and would love to show you all. So gore warning.
Yes, gore warning.
If you're not good with blood and stuff, don't watch this.
Abby, I need to save them.
No. Maybe this time you'll learn.
The first time I saw that, my mouth was just like hanging open. It is so brutal. and so bloody, and it just makes you feel so bad for Mark. And the way Omni-Man is eventually defeated, Mark does not defeat him. He decides to leave Earth himself after, I guess, having a mental crisis in the fact that he just doesn't have it in him to kill his own son.
So yeah, so what I think is really different about this is that you see all these battles, like in, like, say, Superman 2, where they're battling there in the city, and Superman decides to leave because he doesn't want,
the civilian
casualties, and so they go after him. And then you don't really see civilian casualties as brutal as this in any movie that's been out there. I don't think, as far as superhero films, they kind of allude to the fact that there might be people getting killed in these buildings. But they don't show it, and not and so,
and that the fact that they do that and they show those casualties in the show actually puts you on edge when the heroes are fighting the villains, because it makes you think that these people could actually die. I want the heroes to save them. There's tension in there that's missing from a lot of other superhero shows.
And so here's Mark, and he's basically used as a tool to kill all these innocent people,
and it's just horrible.
It was probably one of the most shocking moments I've ever seen in anything ever, and it just left me speechless. So that was incredible. And the thing about this series, though, is that most superhero cartoons are like a half hour long. All these episodes are an hour long, so there's a lot of story going on. And basically, this whole thing with Omni-Man is basically just the first half of this. And it's kind of like surprises you, because they wrap it up kind of like this part of the story, like near the beginning of the episode. And then they move on to, a really kind of chill, weird kind of ending. Where Mark basically goes to visit. He finds out that this guy that was the Seth Rogen character, Alan the Alien, who he met in the second episode, who he fought with, and is coming back to Earth. And so he flies up to meet him, and they have an understanding. And basically, Alan's there to give him some kind of warning
about Omni-Man being on Earth. Like, it reminds me of like when I get an email from somebody after like I have an assignment due for classes, and then the teacher sends the reminder from the email like after the assignment is already due. I've had that happen once, and it just gave me those vibes. So that was an interesting moment. And I think the series ends with like a montage of what we're seeing in the future.
Yes.
Of what we can expect for season 2, which we can't expect until 2023 at the earliest, apparently.
Yeah, Steven Yeun did an interview for Collider just like a couple of days ago, and they're not even in production yet for season 2.
Which sucks.
And but Amazon had already renewed the series for seasons 2 and 3. So we're going to be getting a lot more of Invincible, but not until next year at the earliest, which is like really kind of a bummer, because I think a lot of people are going to forget about the show. It's hard with these productions and with what's going on with the pandemic. And I know that those are probably a lot of the reason why it's been pushed back. But, it's going to be a couple of years before we see what happens, unless you want to go read the comics, which I know Rachel's been reading. I don't have time to read comics right now with everything that's going on in my life. But so the thing is, Invincible's a great show. We encourage everybody to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to wait a while before you get to see what else happens to Mark and the whole cast. Yep, absolutely. So does anybody out there have any thoughts on the show or anything you'd like to say about it? Any comments in the comments?
I actually have a comment real quick while we're waiting for people to comment. I am so glad that they went with animation for this show instead of live action, because I don't know what, it's like The Boys. People keep comparing this show to The Boys, but I don't know. The Boys being live action, I think, is the main contributor, which kind of throws me off of it.
I have not seen The Boys,
but the stuff that the blood is in live action makes it more brutal to me, and it kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me as much. It's also a lot more cynical when it comes to like superheroes. You don't have like a Mark with a heart of gold in The Boys, at least from what I've seen of it. It's just not my cup of tea. If you like it, that's great. But I think basically the animation of Invincible and the fact that you have a more grounded, typical super person with a superhero mentality to balance out some of the cynicism makes it a lot easier to watch for me. So it doesn't look like anybody has commented.
Yeah, there was a couple of comments there. It's a great show, but it's hard to wait for.
It is a great show. It's hard to wait for is basically the this is why I start reading the comments, because I'm not waiting. I refuse.
But yeah, you know, it's going to be a while for me for sure. And we just want to say thank you to everybody who tuned in.
Mm-hmm.
And the show could have gone a lot smoother, we know, and we're sorry about that technical glitch terribly. Rachel's under the weather. I'm not feeling that great, but we
really wanted to put this show out there for you guys.
Yeah, we really wanted to put it out, and then the next time we come back, we've got a new. This is if I can get her to do this. I tried to get her the other day, but it's going to be hard, man. And this is going to be one of those episodes. Then our next episode is going to be one of these where she's going to just go at me. Okay. Our topic.
Why?
Our topic.
Why?
It's going to be Twilight.
Why?
I'm introducing her to the Twilight films.
Actually, why do you have to show me? Like,
Rachel did see one at the theater with me.
Why? Unfortunately.
But I have seen all of them. I enjoy the Twilight.
How? It's awful. Like, not even Riverdale. I can get why you would like Riverdale. Twilight? How?
So tune in.
Tune in if you want like Riverdale 2, but like
more brutal.
It's more brutal. Because I am going in.
Oh, Mark, you really won't want to miss it, or you're gonna want to catch the recap, because there's gonna be
bloodshed.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Breaking Dawn, or something like that. Anyway, thanks everybody.
Puns don't make sense with this show. Bye.
Bye.